Welcome to Lines Behind Business, the podcast that shines a light on the diverse experiences of students here at Lambton College. I'm your host, Emily Mackey, a current business student on the journey myself. In each episode, we'll explore what it's really like to study business here at Lambton College, from classroom to co-op and everything in between. Plus, a glimpse into what's waiting for you after graduation. Whether you're tuning in to learn, laugh, or feel a little more connected, you're in the right place. So grab your headphones, settle in, and let's get started. In our last few episodes, we've heard from students who started and finished their education right here at Lambton College. But that's not always the case for everyone. This is something we don't talk about nearly enough. It's actually very common for students to switch majors, transfer schools, or even take time off after graduating high school. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Joining us is Jessie Hillier, a first-year business administration accounting student who began her studies at McMaster University before transferring to Lambton College. Welcome, Jessie.
Thank you for having me.
Something pretty cool is that Jessie and I have known each other for quite a while, having met all the way back in elementary school in grade 3.
Feels like forever ago now.
I know, after running into you at the pub earlier in the semester, I was just so inspired by your journey. I knew it had to be shared. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Definitely. After graduating high school in 2024, I decided that I wanted to go to McMaster University for business. I moved in, I began classes, and I started to realize that it wasn't for me.
Do you think you were just homesick or you just didn't like the environment?
I thought it was just me being homesick in the beginning, but I slowly realized that it was more, and I was getting stressed out over small things.
So how did you make the decision to switch to Lambton College?
I knew that Lambton had more hands-on experiences, which is something I really needed compared to university.
Why did you pick the BACC course?
I knew I wanted to get my CPA, and I knew that the BACC program was an easy and affordable way to get me there.
Awesome. But that must have been a really hard decision for you to make.
It was definitely a difficult decision, but I feel like it was the right one for me.
What were the class sizes like at McMaster?
The class sizes at McMaster were anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 students.
Really? I can't even imagine having that many people in a class. Was it hard to contact your professor? Or I guess there's a lot of TAs in university.
It was definitely very hard. I had to go scroll through all of the class outlines and try and find one small spot telling me how to contact my prof or TA.
That's my favorite part about Lambton College is that whenever I have a question, I literally just walk up straight to my teacher. And I'm just like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And they always put in the extra time and extra effort to answer your question.
Yeah, it's definitely much easier to get help.
So when you say you knew Lambton College was a bit more hands-on than McMaster was, well, how was the content taught when you were there?
Basically, every class was a lecture where the teacher would read off slides and tell you to go over everything, read the textbook by yourself.
So there were no practical experiences in class, no case studies?
No, there was nothing. It was all just tests and small assignments.
I feel like that's what truly sets Lambton College apart from the other schools. Our program coordinators put so much time and effort into giving students practical experiences that are built into the curriculum, as well as providing extracurricular activities.
I agree. I've already learned so much more from the practical experiences than I did when I was at McMaster.
What were the learning opportunities outside of the classroom like? I assume they had an Enactus team and such?
They had some clubs like Enactus, but they didn't have anything quite like the tax clinic here at Lambton.
How would you say it compares? Why don't you tell me a little bit more about the tax clinic? Since I'm just in the general business, I feel like I don't know as much about it.
The tax clinic is something run by the college during the tax season where different accounting students can get practical accounting experience in a supportive and low-pressure environment.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. How would you say the experience you're getting from that differs from what you would have gotten at McMaster?
I think the main thing is that we're actually filing real taxes. It's not just a simulation or something like that.
So it's not a lot of theory, you're actually having to do it, so you actually have to learn so that when you're graduated, you're like, oh, easy peasy, I've done this before.
Yes, exactly. So now I can say I know how to file taxes and use that in the real world.
And put that on your resume. And honestly, I feel like the tax clinic, that's just the start of it. Every year, classes get more and more integrated with experiential learning opportunities. Would you say those opportunities were the main seller for you to come to Lambton?
They were definitely one of the main reasons why I decided to come to Lambton. I know that I'm a hands-on learner personally, and at university I wasn't really getting that experience. Here at Lambton, I'm doing stuff in my HR class and accounting class, and I know that the marketing class is also doing something first year.
And I love how Lambton is always building on top of, I just took the HR class last year, but it was still hands-on, but for what I've heard from first-year students now, is you're already doing more hands-on activities to help you actually, I hear you do case studies. Although it was not something I got to do. I think it's so cool that they realized like, oh, like that would be a good part to help students learn. So they added that on as soon as they could.
Yeah, it's honestly amazing. I love that they keep trying to grow the experiential learning opportunities for everyone.
Were there any other reasons why you chose Lambton College?
Yeah, my mom's actually an accountant, and through her I heard about the Nipissing pathway here at Lambton.
That is my favorite thing to talk about on here. I stand by the fact that pathways are not talked about enough to incoming or prospective students. It is such an affordable way to earn your degree and all your certifications as well.
Yeah, at McMaster I was paying upwards of $20,000 for housing, tuition, and food.
That's insane. 20 grand?
Yeah, it was crazy.
20,000?
Yep.
Was that including your books?
No.
So let me get this straight. You were spending upwards of 80 grand just to get your degree over 4 years, not accounting for other fees besides tuition and your cost of living.
And I wasn't even getting practical experience.
That is insane. I've actually done the math, and for your entire education at Lambton College, including the Nipissing pathway, you'll be spending roughly 30 grand, which may sound like a lot, but it's super important to remember that that's your entire education, not just 1 year, but all 4. You'll end up with both your advanced diploma and your degree, and that's quite a steal when you think about it, if you're paying 20 grand for just 1 year.
So much more affordable.
Similar to you, I'd also enrolled in university and decided to switch into business here at Lambton. When I was making the decision to transfer, I really thought about where I wanted to be in 10 years. The thought of huge amounts of student debt was scary. I knew I would be delaying big future plans like buying a house and just starting my adult life in general. Tuition at Lambton is way more affordable, and I'm also able to work on campus like I am right now.
Me too. I feel like growing up in Sarnia, you're always pushed with the idea that you have to go away for school.
I felt the same way in high school.
I think it's important for students to know that Lambton College is definitely a good option and you can do more than just get your diploma.
That's honestly so true. I feel like I didn't even know much about the pathways until I talked to the recruiters through the marketing department and had learned. And that's honestly what really sold me on the program, was that I don't have to end my education at Lambton. If I want to expand and get my degree, get my master's, and even maybe go to teacher's college, I have that opportunity. But besides the academic part, I do have to ask, how does Lambton's campus life compare to McMaster's? When I think about university, I think of the nightlife and the huge campuses. And students who stay in Sarnia for post-secondary are often told they'll be missing out if they don't go.
When I went away to McMaster, I didn't really get the vibe that it was much of a party school. I do feel like the campus was so big I found it hard to meet new people. I often found myself coming home for pub nights.
Okay, that's actually really interesting. So even though you had moved away and you weren't going to school at Lambton, you still found the atmosphere pretty inclusive and fun, so you would come back?
The atmosphere was definitely very inclusive, and I got the opportunity to meet people that I still talk to this day.
Do you often stay on campus after classes too, or do you just go home?
I spend a lot of my time on campus. There's plenty of spaces to study, hang out with friends, and complete assignments. I'm also on the badminton team here, so I typically end up staying after class before my practices start.
Oh, that's cool. I think you're the first student athlete that I've ever had on here now that I think about it. How do you find the balance between being a student athlete and also being a full-time student?
I was actually also a student athlete at McMaster, but I found it much harder to balance my course load than I do here at Lambton. I think the courses at Lambton are a lot more flexible and I'm not being constantly hounded with coursework.
That's really awesome to hear.
Yeah, I feel like the professors played a huge role in it. I feel like the professors here at Lambton really care and actually want you to succeed.
That's so true. I honestly couldn't agree with you more.
I feel more connected to the people around me and I actually get to know my classmates.
I love that. I feel like I always have someone to compare answers to, ask questions, and even just sit with during lectures.
Obviously, everybody wants to get good marks, but it doesn't feel as cutthroat or competitive as it did at McMaster.
I honestly feel like that's what I was super worried about when I was coming into post-secondary education, is that I wouldn't be able to meet people because it would just be so intense and that everyone wanted to get the 100%. Everyone wanted the placement at co-op. But I felt that here at Lambton, like when I got my co-op, everyone was excited for me. And everyone was happy for me. And then when other students also got theirs, I was happy for them. I wasn't like, no enemies were made based on your marks. It was just, you're one big family, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
I'm so glad to hear you found your community here at Lambton College. I really appreciate you coming on today's episode to share your story. I think it's super important to shed a light on the amazing experiences you get here on campus, proving that you don't have to go to a big name university just to get a good education.
Thank you for having me. If there's one thing I want people to take away from my story, it's that it's never too late to find your place. whether that be transferring schools like me or pursuing a new career later on in life.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Lines Behind Business. A big thank you to Jessie Hillier for sharing her story, insights, and advice. It's always inspiring to hear how Lambton students are making the most of their time here. Did you enjoy this episode? Don't forget to tune in to the next one. You won't want to miss it. And don't forget, whether you're just starting out or planning your next step, there's a place for you here at Lambton College. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Lines Behind Business.